All right, let's talk about something that keeps pretty much every business leader up at night: cybersecurity. We all know it's not a question of if you'll face a threat, but when. So the real question is, how do you make sure your team is actually ready to be your first line of defense? Well, to get to the solution, we've got to understand the real scale of the problem. And the answer is probably not what you think.
So let's just start with the stakes. Let this number sink in. $4.35 million. That's the average global cost of a single data breach. I mean, that's a crazy number that can absolutely cripple a company, right? It hits everything from your bottom line to your reputation. And don't for a second think this is just a problem for the giant corporations. This is a threat for businesses of all sizes.
Now, when you hear data breach, you're probably picturing some sophisticated hacker in a dark room breaking through firewalls like in the movies. The data, though, it tells a completely different story. A staggering 88 to 95% of all security breaches, they come down to simple human error. We're talking about someone clicking a phishing link or using a weak password. What that really means is our biggest vulnerability isn't our technology, it's us, it's our people. And that brings up a really critical question. If we know human error is the problem, why isn't our training fixing it? Why do these incredibly expensive mistakes keep happening again and again? Well, it's because the traditional way we've always done it, that one-size-fits-all approach, is just fundamentally broken.
This right here is the core of the problem. On one side, you've got the old way, annual training. It's a classic case of information overload. One long session where everyone's supposed to magically absorb a whole year's worth of knowledge. But on the other side, you've got the solution: continuous education. This is all about bite-sized lessons that are constantly reinforced. It's a huge shift from a one-time event to an ongoing habit.
There's actually a scientific reason why that annual training model is such a failure. It's called the forgetting curve. It's a really simple but powerful idea. If we don't actively reinforce something we learn, our memory of it just decays over time and fast. So that 3-hour seminar everyone sat through last January, by February, most of that was long gone.
But look at what happens when you switch to a continuous model. The results are dramatic. Organizations that provide ongoing education see up to 70% fewer security incidents. Now, that's not just a small improvement. That is a complete game changer that really redefines what's possible for a company's security.
Okay, so this all sounds good, but how do we deliver this kind of effective, continuous education without totally disrupting the workday? The answer, and really the hero of our story today, is a concept called microlearning.
So what is it exactly? It's beautifully simple. Microlearning just breaks down these big, complex topics into tiny, digestible chunks. So instead of a long, boring lecture, you get a short, focused lesson, usually just 3 to 5 minutes, that covers one specific thing. Think of it like getting your training through a slow, steady drip instead of a fire hose. And this isn't just some random new trend, it's really the evolution of training shaped by the modern workplace. We've gone from these giant, lengthy manuals to 30-minute e-learning modules, and now to these super focused micro-lessons that just align perfectly with how we all actually work and consume information today. Let me give you a real-world example. There was a hospital that started a daily drip system. They sent one single security quiz question to their employees' phones every day. It takes a minute or two, the staff reinforces their learning, they can earn points, and they stay sharp. It completely transforms training from an annual chore into a simple, engaging daily habit. So the concept just makes sense, but how effective is it really? What are the specific advantages that make this approach so much more powerful than everything that came before? Let's, look at the numbers. The single biggest impact is on how much people actually remember. Knowledge retention skyrockets by up to 80%. Just by constantly fighting that forgetting curve with these regular bite-sized reinforcements, employees simply remember more of what they learn, and that is a massive improvement in your defense. And the benefits go way beyond just memory. Engagement goes through the roof because the lessons are short, they're interactive, and they fit easily into the workday. Learning becomes a continuous habit, not some big disruptive event that pulls people from their jobs. The content is also way more flexible. A new threat pops up, you can have a new module out in hours, not months. And all of this makes it incredibly efficient, both with time and money. This all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually put it into practice, right? It might seem complex, but you can break it down into a really straightforward, actionable plan. Let's just walk through it. So the roadmap to get there is a simple 6-step cycle. You start by figuring out your biggest risks, like phishing, and you create focused little modules for them.
Then you choose a platform, you set a consistent schedule, and you use things like games and points to keep it engaging. Then the final and most crucial step is to monitor your results and constantly evolve the program. It's a living system, not a one-time project. And when you put all of this together, you're doing so much more than just training. You're building a whole new kind of defense. You're transforming your company culture, and you're turning your greatest vulnerability, your people, into your absolute strongest asset. The ultimate goal here is to build a robust human firewall. It's all about creating a culture of security where every single employee feels empowered, is vigilant, and is ready to act as that first line of defense against any threat that comes their way. So, as we wrap up, the one question to ask about your own organization is this. Take a hard, honest look at your current approach to cybersecurity education and just ask yourself, is your training building a genuine firewall, or is it just checking a compliance box?